but trust in God to guide thee, and take my life and let it be. George Newmark was around the age of 18 when, while traveling across the Germanic states, he was robbed of all his personal possessions and money. He spent the next 2 years looking for work among the economic hardships of the 30 Years' War. Finally, at age 20, he found work as a tutor and in the home of a judge in Cannes. Relieved and grateful for his new position and shift in life, he penned the text of the hymn, "If Thou But Trust in God to Guide Thee." This hymn, written in 1641 by a 20-year-old, discusses the trials we face every day, whether they be economic, emotional, spiritual, or physical. The text, which is very explicit, tells us that we must trust in God to guide us. God will give us strength to survive whatever challenges and dangers we face. In her remarks on this hymn and its relation to her sermon, Pastor Carolyn says, "We are called to be active in our faith and to do our own part to spread the gospel faithfully. God will never forsake us." Stephen must have felt very strong in his faith to speak truth to power, knowing the likely consequences of his actions. We can only do that when we trust that God will see us through and save us. God gives us opportunities to speak up and bear witness to Christ's truth, and sometimes they are difficult and dangerous. We can only do that if we have the faith that God is guiding us and will be with us no matter what. The tune for this hymn is one of the few we find on hymns of this age still bound to its original text. Written by Newmark in 1657 for this text, it became a very popular tune and has been used in organ variations by Lutheran composers and in a number of Bach's cantatas. This is a rather interesting tune because it can be sung at a number of different tempos, and the meaning of the text will change depending on the speed it's played or sung. For example, you would sing the hymn at a faster tempo when celebrating God's faithfulness, and at a much slower tempo when singing it in a time of crisis or hardship. The words stay the same, but the meaning changes quite drastically depending on how fast you sing those words. If thou but trust in God to guide thee, with hopeful heart through all thy ways, God will give strength whate'er betide thee, to bear thee through the evil days. Who trusts in God's unchanging love, builds on the rock that naught can move. Only be still and wait God's leisure, in cheerful hope, with heart's content, to take whate'er thy keeper's pleasure. And all discerning love hath sent, no doubt our inmost wants are clear, to one who holds us always dear. Sing, pray, and swerve not from God's ways, but do thine own part faithfully. Trust the rich promises of grace, so shall they be fulfilled in thee. God never yet forsook at need, the soul secure by trust indeed. humanist Frances Havergal had served the Lord for many years, she felt something was missing in her Christian experience. In 1837, she received a little book titled All for Jesus, which stressed the importance of making Christ the King of every corner and cubicle of one's life. Soon after, she made a fresh and complete consecration of herself to Christ, and the hymn, Take My Life and Let It Be, was born. Every verse of this hymn offers a different part of ourselves for the purposes of God: our life, our hands, our voice, our money, our wills, and our love. Pastor Carolyn says of this hymn, "This song is a response to God's call for us to bear witness to Christ in all we say and do, which means speaking truth to power and discerning truth from the clamor of garbage we hear around us all the time. We are called, and this song expresses an explicit and faithful response. Take my life and let it be consecrated to you, O Lord. Take my hands and my work. Take my mouth and my words. Take my feet and my journeys. Take my hand. Take my will and make it thine." In this hymn, I hear commitment to try and be as faithful as someone like Stephen. I hear joy and trust and commitment. Our journey is hard, and it is wonderful to be encouraged by a hymn of such joy and faith. Our path as Christians, especially in times like these, aren't easy. It is wonderful to be uplifted by a joyous hymn of faith. Set to the hymn tune Hendon in modern hymnals, this tune was brought to North America by Lowell Mason, where it quickly became the tune associated with this hymn, and is found in most modern hymnals. This is a gentle, quiet tune that doesn't require much accompaniment. Use of guitar picking or light piano with a flute or violin providing harmony lines, or a very light organ registration. Sometimes, what I personally like to do when we are together in our sanctuary and singing this hymn is to drop out on the verse that reads, "Take my voice and let me sing, always only for my King," in an attempt to highlight everything the text is telling us. Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to thee. Take my moments and my days, let them flow in ceaseless praise. Take my hands and let them move at the impulse of thy love. Take my feet and let them be swift and beautiful to thee. Take my voice and let me sing, always only for my King. Take my lips and let them be filled with messages from thee. Take my silver and my gold, not a mite would I withhold. Take my intellect and use every power as thou shalt choose. Take my will and make it thine, it shall be no longer mine. Take my heart, it is thine own, it shall be thy royal throne. Take my love, my Lord, I pour, at thy feet its treasure store. Take myself, and I will be ever only all for thee. Thank you for joining us here this week. I look forward to seeing you all again next week here around 5:30. I'm sorry, 5. And until we meet again, may God be with you.